Now, there's different kinds of meditation. Somebody says, hi, I'm looking at a candle, and somebody else is saying, what's the sound of one hand clapping, or whatever. I mean, what's the difference really in them, and what distinguishes them, or what's an advantage? How do I know which one I want to do?
It's a matter of trial and error, I would say. You read about the different traditions, and you see which way of working appeals to you intellectually. You also check out different teachers, see their teaching style, their personality, their emphasis. They're all different. Some are very heartfelt, some are very intellectually clear and precise.
Like you?
Yeah, I'm more the, as T.S. Eliot would have said, the sharp compassion of the healer's art. And maybe a little bit less on the heartfelt side, but everybody has their specialty. So you check out the intellectual model. You check out the personality of the teacher or teachers. You can have more than one teacher.
Is that confusing to have more than one teacher?
It depends. Some people are for some people that is confusing, but some people are naturally bi-spiritual or poly-spiritual.
Bi-spiritual.
Yeah, you can be bi or poly. And
we want it to be bi.
yeah. And for those people, it's not confusing. So okay. There is the main difference in the different meditation traditions is what do they have you focus on? How do they have you build the concentration? Now, typically, concentration power is built by giving somebody an object to focus on, and then when their attention wanders, they bring it back. And then it wanders again, and they bring it back over and over again. Now, I say typically because there are exceptions where you don't actually have an object that you focus on. But that's pretty specialized. Most forms of meditation will give you an object. So most of them...
By an object, could you tell me what you mean?
Yeah, very good. A sensory experience of some sort. So, yes, I'll give you a range of possibilities. Typical sensory experiences a person might focus on are the physical sensations of breathing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Heard of that.
Which would be a body sensation that is specific and physical. So the physical sensation of breathing is one common object. External sound is another common object. You can do it with music, for example. Some people do a music-based meditation.
When you focus on music
the sound itself,
as a meditation.
Yeah, on the sound of the music.
That's fun.
Another sensory experience could be, as you mentioned, something that's external sight, like a flower or a candle. Your attention wanders, you bring it back. The object could be an internal sound of a mantra, which is any syllable, word, phrase, sentence that you repeat over and over again. That could be an object. It could be an internal image. For example, some people like to visualize like a sphere of light or something like that they would look at, or like a blank extent of brightness or darkness. So that would be an image type thing.
Does it matter which one of these you do? Is there an advantage to looking at a sphere of light versus listening to music, or?
Well, let me list a few more, and then we'll talk about the relative advantages and disadvantages. Let's see. So we could have touch. We could have sight, sound. We could have mental image. We could have an internal talk, but in the form of a syllable or word or sentence that is repeated over and over again, which would tend to cool out talk space, your internal chattering. So that's called mantra in Sanskrit. But the Christians used it too. Most of the traditions used it. So that's image, talk. And you could even focus on an emotional sensation, like a pleasant emotional feeling in your body, like love or something like that. So certain kinds of physical touches, sight, external sights, external sounds, mental images, certain kinds of internal talk, certain kinds of emotional feel in the body would be typical objects that a person might take as a concentration.
It's like everything.
Potentially anything, because you're training a generic skill. So it does have to be based on sensory experience. You pick a sensory experience, your attention will wander, it will be pulled elsewhere, you bring it back, you wander, bring it back. Each time you bring it back, it's like lifting a weight, you're strengthening your muscles, you may get tired, but in the end, your muscles get strong if you do that consistently. That's how most kinds of meditation work, not every kind. There are some formless kinds, but most kinds of meditation will give you an object, your attention wanders, you bring it back. As to the advantages and disadvantages, I would say it very much depends on what appeals to you and what works for you as a person. So try out different
So even
things.
somebody likes sound, so would someone move from one to another, like say today I want to listen to music and tune into that experience, and if my mind wanders I come back to the music, and maybe tomorrow I want to watch this light in front of my eyes, and I mean, or does someone pick one thing that they're doing and that's what you do every day to build this muscle of concentration?
It's an excellent question. It depends on the tradition you're working in, because each meditations are organized into systems, and each system has an internal consistency that is designed for it. So in some systems, you'll be encouraged to, like, okay, it can be today this, tomorrow that, based on some sort of algorithm. In other systems, it will be much more monolithic. No matter what, you always do this kind of thing.
Like the breath, I've heard a lot of people who do nothing
Yeah,
but watch the breath.
That's the answer to the question, what should I focus on, is easy. It's always the same. No matter what comes up,
Right.
gently return to the breath sensation in your abdomen, nostril, wherever. It very much depends on the internal consistency of the meditation system that a person is practicing, and the teacher or teachers will tell you how to make those decisions and why. And every meditation teacher should be willing and able to explain to you why they ask you to do things in a certain way.